Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here, and welcome to those of you who might be new. Please subscribe, like, comment if you're new to the channel. We've got over 300 audios on a variety of topics for you to check out. I do try to keep things light as far as the graphics around here. Hope you find something that you either find beautiful or cute. That's the idea. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about the idea of signs you might be too nice. Everyone tells us to be nice, especially as kids, right? Learn to be nice. You got to be nice, and everything's great. And certainly showing kindness and generosity to others, a major part of social interaction and connecting with other people. And the foundation of communication and relationships is kindness, right? So it's important to be nice, but how do you know if you're being too nice? Today's audio is going to kind of focus on 8 signs or so that you might be a little too nice. So the first is you have no boundaries. Boundaries are, hey, I'm not comfortable with this. Hey, I need to say no to this or that. And people who especially are people pleasers, which fall into the too nice category, often have difficulty with saying no, because the fear is they'll lose a friendship, they'll lose a relationship romantically, they'll lose a family member, they'll lose a job. And so what happens is when you go into the world of being too nice, you eliminate all boundaries rather than really identifying the differences between preferences and boundaries. A preference is exactly that. I would prefer that this, be the case, but it doesn't have to be. A boundary is I will not let you cross this point. And so people, rather than going, here are my preferences, which I can work around, they eliminate boundaries, and then they're getting walked all over on a consistent basis, which brings about number 2 on the list, which is users. If you're too nice, people will use you. They'll take advantage of you financially. They'll take advantage of you emotionally. They'll usurp your time. They may take advantage of your physical ability if they need work done or labor that they don't want to do. They'll take advantage of you sexually in an intimate way. Should that chemistry be there, or sometimes even when it's not, and you feel guilt and all of that, they'll take advantage of you emotionally and learn to play and manipulate your emotions. There's many ways that users will use you, but users do find people who are too nice because they have wounds in themselves that they are trying to overcompensate for. And one of the ways they do that is through creating relationships based on manipulation so they don't have to hear no and deal with rejection. So if you're too nice, you're more likely to be used. The next is people who are too nice get asked to do favors all the time because they're known to not have boundaries. People who don't even mean them any harm, who just think, hey, I'm in a jam and who can I benefit from? How can I get this done? Will automatically think of the person who's too nice because they already know the odds that person is going to say no is lower than 50%, which means their life is simpler as a default. And so if you have an abundance of people asking you for favors all the time, even when you're tired, even when you're pushed beyond your physical, mental, or emotional limits, you may be being too nice overall. So the next is, do people doubt your sincerity? When you're too nice, people kind of look at you and go, really? You're going to let me do ABC? You're going to give me ABC? And what happens is when you've crossed the line from nice and generous and kind and genuine into too nice, people think there's a motive. They think you're, likely to be manipulating them because at some level they think this cannot be. This person's too good to be true, and generally if it's too good to be true, it is. So that's where when people start to doubt your sincerity, you may be being too nice. The next is you stay silent during issues of conflict, even if they push your boundaries. Again, we come back to boundaries. If you don't have any, that's one thing. But the other is, if something is going to conflict with your boundaries, you will stay silent in social situations, maybe even to avoid raised voices, to avoid disagreement, to avoid guilt from having to say no or having to be the one to offer an alternative. But the silent treatment that we give when we just don't want to face confrontation is another sign that we may be being too nice. The next thing is we forgive too easy. Now, this is difficult. Forgiveness is essential, and done correctly, it's more for us than for the other person, because when we hold on to negative energy, we're going to keep ourselves stuck anyway. But forgiveness doesn't mean continuation of relationship, and for many people with issues of being too nice, it often does. Now, forgiveness, if a person's willing to work with you and change and respect your boundaries, is a great thing and a necessary part of human interaction. However, forgiveness for the sake of not being seen as a, quote, bad person or too harsh, that can be dangerous and downright negative. The next is guilt in putting oneself first. A person who is too nice will come up with reasons why they have to sacrifice constantly and become altruistic. Now, altruism is wonderful, and there are people on the planet who are altruistic who actually need to be that way in order to fill whatever their purpose may be, or in order to balance the energy and kind of the for the people that are too harsh. There needs to be sometimes people that are too nice upon occasion. However, when we have guilt about putting ourselves first, it's a sign we're too nice, because it's the age-old story of, if you don't put on your oxygen mask, you can't help your neighbor, in a crashing plane. And the same thing goes with just putting our own self-care needs before the needs of others sometimes. If we have guilt around putting our own needs first, chances are we are too nice. The last is if we become our own harsh self-critic on a consistent basis. We don't take self-care time. We are always looking for improvement and never celebrating our accomplishments. This may mean you're being too nice, because without seeing the benefit to yourself, if you can't see it and sell it and promote it, why would someone else do the same? And so there's a balance there that's necessary, and finding that balance is essential to living a happy, healthy, meaningful life existence. And so hopefully this has been helpful. I encourage you, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.